Hey everybody,
Good afternoon, everybody.
I'm Chuck. This here is
Isaiah.
yep, and we wanted to share with you Isaiah's story. He has a good one for you. Today, I had the pleasure of being able to attend Isaiah's church. He was a pastor, and he had a wonderful sermon preached from Jeremiah today, and he's talking about how God has called us with our gifts and to go forward. And it was a blessing. He even had to get up there and say a couple words up in there.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it today.
Yeah, I'm glad you came. It was very a blessing to see you guys there today. After just asking a few questions and then talking, working together, man, it's just a joy to looked up and seen you guys sitting there today. And it's just an honor to be able to serve the Lord after being able to make a wreck to live the life of the prodigal son. I grew up in the house with my mom, 6 girls, and my mom pretty much raised me and taught me a lot of things. In fact, she told me about Jesus. But, as a young person, we kind of fade away. We know 16, we think we're 10 foot tall and we
I've
know
been there, yes,
everything.
sir.
And I didn't have a strong arm or father and figure in my life. I remember the first day that I smoked marijuana. The guy handed it to me, and when he did, it was the most nasty, stinkingest stuff I ever tasted. But yet, when he handed it to me again, I took it and I smoked it. I realized after years that's passed, the reason why I took that is because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be a part, and I didn't want them to reject me. And now, at this age, and time has passed, all of them are either dead in jail, or they could barely make it in life right now. And I look back over my life and I realize these are the people that I chose to want to be with and hang out with. Of course, when you're young, you're out on your own, not on my own, basically. My oldest sister pretty much took over and she taught me a lot. She had strong arm. Of course, I could not run her, but she was really hard on me. And a couple of things that really hurt was when I got ready to leave her house, she would stop me at the door and says, wait a minute, and she'll check me. Because I had moved on then from marijuana to pills, from pills to cocaine, and from cocaine to acid, and then on up to that crack. As I was saying, sometimes it's so embarrassing to have your sister check you when before you leave out of the house, want to know if you what have you taken. It's a lot of things that really affected me, like I got my income tax, and I kept calling on a Friday, H&R Block about getting my money. And finally, the lady said, "Your check is here." So I rushed to Columbus, got my check, came back, $2,700. I wanted that crack so bad. I just went in the store. The guy was closed up. He said, "I didn't put away all the money." He says, "I got 400 on me." He said, "How much is the check?" And I showed it to him. He says, "All right, just leave the check and you pick it up in the morning." So I said, "Okay." So I took the 400, went out to the dope dealer's house, and I stayed out there all night smoking that $400 worth. I left there that morning and went back to the store, got the rest of the money, and I went way out, 14 miles out in another little small town, bought $800 worth, and I stayed there until I smoked every bit of it. I came home with like 48 cents in my pocket, and I pulled in the yard. My girlfriend come outside, and she was like, "We have called the fire department. We called the ambulance. The hospital. We called the sheriff department. You could have called home and told us where you were. We thought you dead." I just didn't have a 48 cents in my pocket. She says, "Have you gotten your check?" And I lied to her and I told her no. She went up the road and she stopped. She started crying and she backed up and she said, "The lady have called him 14 times, wanting me to tell you to come up there. You need to sign a check." I was in such a big hurry to get that money, I forgot to endorse the check. And I went back and I looked at that check with my name on it. It's $2,700 and I only had 48 cents. I had a really good woman. God blessed me with a good girl. And she was more woman than I was man, because many things that I've done, I would have kicked me out in a hurry, but she never did. And I just wondered from that, what kind of man was I? I wasn't a husband. I wasn't a good boyfriend. I was basically an addict. I was addicted to a desire. I call it a satanic chemicals that was in me that I self-inflicted. It was feeding a demon that was constantly growing because he wanted more and more and more. He wanted my time. He wanted my energy. He wanted my money. He wanted my relationships. He wanted everything. And he brought me all the way down to the point where my mother came to my house and she always talked to me. I was the only boy. So she called me man. She wanted me to be a man. And she said, please get off that crack. She says, of all the drugs you ever done, this right here hurts me. She says, you don't even look like my child. She says, do this for me before I die. And I lied to her. I told her, I said, I'm going to do it, Mama. I'm going to do it. And one of my friends had what they call an aneurysm, and she died. And I was going in the yard to get dressed to go to her funeral. And the police pulled in the yard, and he said, Isaiah, there's no easy way to tell you this. He said, your older sister just called the police department and told me to come and tell you that your mother just died. And when I heard that, it was like, I could handle a lot of things. Back when I was a kid, I was into karate, so I could fight two men. This right here was about the one thing I couldn't handle. It was like, time's up. No more procrastinating, no more lies, no more reason, excuse, alibis. She would never see her son, a man, decent. And something inside of me just broke. It's like, please let me back up one more time. Give me one chance to show her I could be a man. I could be a better man. I can do this. But at that time, I still couldn't get off crack. And so I went running around rapid like a fool, and I ended up in jail. For the first time in my life for 7 months in Marion County Jail. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Most people say I got arrested. I'm here to tell you I never got arrested. I got rescued. That day, I got rescued. For the first time in my life, I was put in a place where I couldn't quit. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get back to it. So, and every morning, this boy in the cell next to me had a TV, and we listened to Joyce Myers. And man, she tore that head up. She was preaching to me. It was so hard and so heavy that it was like my mom telling me, okay, I'm looking down at you now, and I'm going to give you a chance. I said, God, if there's a God, you get me out of here at my right mind. Where you tell me to go, I'll go. What you tell me to do, I'll do. And what you tell me to say, I surrender. I can't. I'm not smart enough to read the rest of my life. I don't know how to live. I can't go back out there and be that. I'd rather die than to go back out there like that. And somehow listening to her, it's that word. It's that word that fed me on the inside. It made me feel, you know what? I don't owe the world nothing. The devil told Jesus, if you would bow down to me one time, if I bowed down to Satan one more time and hit one piece of crack, do you imagine what would happen to me? I'd give myself maybe 2 weeks, massive heart attack, stroke, broke, lose everything I started. No, I said, if there is a God, you don't have to give me 2 chances. Give me one. He did. He gave me a chance. And I know there was somebody out there that says, I hope he get what he deserved. Well, guess what? God heard that. And he says, I think that boy deserved a chance. And he gave me that chance. And I'm living on my last chance right now. I am 65 years old. I have raised my daughter, beautiful daughter. I have adopted daughter. She's grown and got grandkids. We're all in touch. And just today is my daughter's birthday, her 20th birthday. Happy birthday. And I am so proud of her. I am so grateful that God took that mess that I made of my life and made a miracle. It's like I said this morning, I'm not Denzel, but when I look in the mirror, I'm pretty proud of what God has done. He does pretty good. He don't make mistakes. And when I got out of jail, I went back to that county jail to give my testimony. And the sheriff that was there, he said that, well, who are you? And I told him, he says, boy, come here, I want to show you something. He showed me that picture that they took of me when I came in. I got rescued. I was dead. It was skin. It was skin on the skeletons. I looked so bad, I could not believe I allowed myself to get that way. I could see what my mom saw. I wasn't her son. So I decided in my life, said, the Lord, I dedicate my life to you. It's not I, but he in me. So whatever you want me to do, do it. So by the grace of God, make a long story short, he has used me through not just the county jail ministry. I went there for a while, and I left there and went to Lumpkin State Prison. And I was giving my testimony down there, and the preacher that was going, he died of cancer. And the warden allowed me to come for 6 years. I knew then that I was anointed to do that because for the first time, I was persistent. I was there every Thursday for 6 whole years for 1 hour. I was given an opportunity with friendship at church. When I got it, I thought, you know what, I'm not a pastor. I don't know how to be a pastor, but there was something inside me that says, why don't you just do what you're doing? And I realized as I met my sermon today was that You don't have to be qualified. God don't get the qualified people. He gets the people with the potentials that he can use that are willing to do his will, and he qualifies you as you go along through life. And that right now he's qualifying me by giving me this chance to be who I am in this old body one more time. And the one question that really made me go deep within myself was a real simple personal question. Who are you? Because that's the day we're going to stand before God and he's going to say, well, okay, then who are thou? I mean, he's going to ask you that. And you can't say my wife, my child, my money, my business. You're going to say, you're going to have to, it's personal. You're going to have to answer that. But how much do we know about ourselves? Sure. And that's the most important thing is to know who you are and whom you are and learn to love yourself, develop your own character, develop who you are. Now, you don't have to be ashamed of God or anything that God has brought you to. Yeah, because if he brought you to it, he'll see you through it. I'm a witness.
One of the hardest prayers, and when you pray it, you got to be ready for real, is when you ask God to show you your own heart.
Amen. Amen.
Show you what's in your own heart.
Amen. You know, when you ask God for something, you have to really be sincere. And, you know, a lot of times when I pray, when I finish praying, I stop for a moment, I pause, and I look back over my life, see if he's already answered it, because I might have asked it earlier, you know, and he may have already answered it. I just
Not the answer you want.
not the one I was paying attention to anyway. You know, I always use the term, I'm always looking in this straight mirror because I have a rearview mirror. And every vehicle, you have a rearview mirror. And when I look in that rearview mirror, I look back over my life and I give my testimony. I'm not ashamed of my past. My past don't define me. My past refined me. It gave me this chance to be who I am. I look in the rearview mirror and I realize something. I've already passed it.
That's it.
Amen. Everything I see in that mirror, I've already been there. I've done that. Yeah, that's the wisdom. That's the knowledge. You see, the testimony, your testimony is not yours. Your testimony is mine. I need to hear it. I need to hear what you've been through, because the testimony is causing you to be a witness. You're a witness for Christ. And when you're a witness, you call a witness for one and two purposes. You call that witness to come forward, to come to court, to tell what they see and tell the truth.
Yep.
So when you're telling the truth about your life, there's some things that's going to come out. If you're a pride-stricken person, you ain't going to tell it because you're pride.
That's right.
But the truth, it is the truth that's going to set you free. You know, once you tell the truth, once you say, I'm sorry, once you say, you know what, I did it, you know, this is it. You're free from it. You don't have to rekindle that again.
Well, it's not yours. I mean, you've given it to him already.
Yes.
And you learn that he uses that.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it was or whatever happened, he uses that. You don't have to know how he uses it, who he's using it with, or whatever. You just use that faith and you trust him that, okay, use me, Lord.
Here we are now giving an interview talking about goodness and the graces of God, or how he's blessed me, taking the wretch that I was. I made bad choices. I mean, I'm not one of those people that say, well, you know, I was a saint. No, I'm not a saint, baby. Believe that. You know, and I'm not where I think I should be right now, but then who am I to judge myself? You know, God had called me. He's equipping me to do what I'm doing. So therefore, I trust him, and I have faith that he has me at the right place at the right time doing what thus said his will. And then my words to the people that are listening or that will look at this video, I would say to you is that, like me, I surely would love to glorify God and to show my mother that I did get off drugs. I had to go through that fire and furnace, but I did get off drugs. I spent all those years, 25 years, 10 months, and 4 days today. I don't have no desire for drugs. I've gotten more now than I ever have. I'm living better now than I ever have. I make better choices, clean. I hate the smell of cigarettes, drugs, and alcohol. I don't do either one, not against anybody who does that, because in your given time, you're going to quit. All you have to do is just see that person, your mother, see your father, see your loved one, your grandmother or your grandchild that's there in paradise looking down at you. And they're constantly telling you, you know what, you can do this. If he can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Don't be afraid of failing. Failure is just a part of this journey. Just whenever you do fall forward, get up, make the best of life, and use every part of aspect of your mind, your thoughts. God can use anything. Just give it to him and trust him. Never let go of his hand. I pray every morning for others and myself.
Amen. Well, on that, thank you, Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
Great time
Thank
for you
you for
today.
giving me an opportunity to share my
I
testimony.
love it, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get another chance to get on here and do some more.